Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special interview. I am Dr. Quack, and today we have our special guest, the number two analyst in all of HSP. Ladies and gentlemen, the villain.
The number two analyst of the HSP, and also the last person to enter the gauntlet last year, even though I didn't win it. But this show is going to be fun to continue to watch.
Oh, yes. I mean, it was definitely an extravagant thing to watch last year. It's going to be a great thing to watch this year. Yeah, for you viewing at home, if you have any questions, by all means, ask them. But let me start with this villain. I am curious on your thoughts because how does this year's group of people in the gauntlet fare versus last year's group?
It, let's see. Everything that I remember off of who qualified for this year, you have Tin Man, you have Hollywood Haywood, and you have Mr. Wallace. Just those three alone pretty much stack up with last year's talent. Now, everybody else, obviously, I don't remember, so they must be irrelevant to this
Well,
case. I
well, I
think
will
it's going
tell
to come
you
down
who
to
it is.
that three.
I will tell you who it is. It is Mary Sue, the Ace, Young Buck, and Sean Shady McKenzie.
Okay, so because of their roles as of late, I'll retract the statement on Mary Sue and Shady Sean McKenzie. The Ace, I still don't know too much about, and I just don't see how he's going to fare in this match, especially when you have veterans like Tin Man, Hollywood Haywood, and Mr. Wallace just sitting on the side and
Right.
going. So I don't know. And Young Buck, he struggled against the Land and frickin' Purge, and pretty much I could beat those guys by which is cue cards on the screen. So
Okay. Well, I mean, because only one man in this gauntlet from last year and this year is in there, and that is your tag partner, the Tin Man. I mean, if you had to give him any advice, what would you say? To do in this gauntlet. What kind of advice would you give him or anybody else entering this?
I I don't think I could give him any advice on this one because I obviously we both were in it last year, so we both know the what it's going to take to get through it. Because not only do you have to prepare for one person, you have to prepare for everybody, and it's like I think the gauntlet is probably one of the hardest promo matches to prepare for because you don't know who's come like, you don't know who's going to start it, you don't know who's coming out next, and if you don't have anything already planned, you're in trouble off the start. And I think he's learned from from last year. It's last year's the last year's one. I think he's learned from it, so I don't need to give him that advice. I think he's got it already all planned out of what he's going to do.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you have all these guys are getting ready, or seven of them right there. Um, I mean, is there an advantage to going first, or is there an advantage more going last, in your opinion?
And it all depends because if I remember right, what you guys were like, what has been it has been announced is there's a change compared to last year's where
Yes.
Storyteller was able to come in second and be able to be second every single time when it came to the promos, and it being the second person to go every single time has the advantage. So this year it's going to be a little interesting because you don't always get to start second.
Correct.
So
It may not
who
be. Now, they get to call the coin flip. If you win your match, you get to call the coin flip. If you lose it, then yeah, the other person may go first or second there.
and I agree. So it's like this is gonna be a very interesting one. I'm still gonna put it between my top four will be between my tag team partner and Tin Man, Hollywood Haywood, Mr. Wallace, and Shady Sean McKenzie. Those four are I I don't know who's gonna win it out of those four because you have Mr. Wallace, who's been a champion. You've had Mr. Hollywood Haywood, who's been a champion. Shady's just on a roll of a lifetime. and then Tin Man's just coming back, and he went up against Heathen, and took
I don't
Heathen
think
to the
somebody
limit.
liked your comment there. That would be Mary Sue going, ouch.
She's fifth on my list, and the only reason why she's fifth on my list is just because I'm giving champions advantage to Haywood and Wallace. I'm giving them the advantage just because they've been a champion. They know what it takes, and now they've been in a live match where Tin Man and we've been in a live match. So
Yeah.
and plus, as Tin Man's been a part of it last year, so he understands it. So I don't think I haven't seen Mary Sue in a live match, so it's going to be interesting. She won't be able to. I don't know how she's going to be able to handle not being able to have the mystique effect, because I think that's what's helped her a lot. And I love what she does. Like what she's been doing. Mary Sue, keep doing what you're doing, because that mystique effect of putting everybody, like, heck, she took, what was it, 2-1 on Vagabond winning. Like Vagabond won 2 votes to 1, and it was, and even
Vagabond got 2 ties, and Vagabond won the third. It was that close of a match.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say either way, no matter what, she took him to the limit, and Vagabond's one of the toughest competitors here in the HSP. So it is like it could be anybody's game. Last year, Storyteller was coming off of losing the championship. He wasn't at the top of his game at that point, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, ran through the gauntlet easily. I think out of the whole, if I remember right, out of everybody in the gauntlet, I was the closest one to him, to beating him. So it could be anybody's game, but obviously the champion advantage to Haywood and Wallace.
Okay. Well, here, let's run down the rest of the card here, because there's only 5 matches on this card, but yes, we got one of the big ones we just talked about. I'm curious, Pure Heart Championship, Tonstradamus and Heathen. I mean, you've had some words lately for Heathen.
Oh, you're talking about the freaking hobgoblin who won't sit there and fight me like a man. He'll just sit there and continue to say, I'm not worth his time, that I should continue to sit on the bench, and yet apparently he's afraid to go against me because he knows I'm going to win. But I will say it's a tough match to decide, because when Heathen has that edge, very few can beat him. Tonstradamus, I'll sit here and say, as a fan of the promo game, Tonstradamus is one of my favorite promo artists to watch. Because yes, you may get that funny laugh that he does, but he finds a way to win, and it's going to be very interesting.
So who do you got in this one? Do you have a pick?
I don't have a pick. I think
too tough to call.
It's too close to call. Again, if I'm going to give a advantage, it's going to be the champion, because obviously a tie doesn't give you the coin flip. There's no coin flip in a tie for a championship. So I think no matter what, Tonster leaves as the champion, and it could be a tie.
Okay. Well, I mean, we have another big match here. Thanks to Mr. Rich Man, he got A-List Alverson back out here, got him signed in a match, and he's got to take on his tag team partner, Carter Diamond.
Could this be the dissolve of the cartel?
A lot of people have been asking that.
It's very interesting, because the last time we really saw A-List Alverson show up on screen, he attacked the Pure Heart champion, and his debut of showing himself with the championship, and then he'll pop up every now and then with Bullseye during the Pulse and just stand there menacingly. Doesn't say a word. So I want to see what A-List is going to do because this is his tag team partner he's going against. So is this the end of probably one of the strongest tag teams that isn't named the Highway Hellraisers? Because if it wasn't for after Highway Hellraisers, they were the longest reigning tag team champions after that. So it's going to be interesting. As much as I love Carter Diamond, he's a true fighter in the promo game. I think A-List wants his title back, and he's going to do what it takes to get it. And
even beating your own partner.
I think so. I think that's what it's going to have to take. And I'm one of those that believe that when the dust is all settled, we may have seen the last of the cartel, but we will see. It's going to be a close match. But I think you have to go with you have to go with the fact of A-List is coming back. How many times has he actually lost? Because to me, I still don't think Hollywood beat him.
Not many.
I think A-List handed the belt to Hollywood. I don't think Hollywood won. So I honestly believe not many people have beaten
A-List. Are you saying that Hollywood couldn't beat A-List on his best day? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Wow.
Again, I don't think many people could beat A-List Albertson.
Okay. Well, we got two more matches here. One I want to talk about is a wrestling challenge. We have a person who came to us and wanted to compete. His name is Johnny Blade in the professional wrestling world. And he's going to be taking on our wrestler here, the wrestling German sensation, Purge.
So what you're saying is this is my, hey, go take a nap match. Number one, you got Purge. That again, he's one of the ones that I could sit here and say, I could just beat him with my mouth taped shut. Him in the land, I could sit there and have tape across my mouth, and I would win.
Okay.
And then Johnny Blaze. What you said, Blade, right?
Yeah, Johnny Blade.
Johnny Blade sounds like he's about to do a blade job, and he's going to bleed all across our promo screens. So I wish Johnny Blade the best of luck. Just don't bore us to death, please.
Well, okay. You hear that one there. And one more match that's on the card. We have Old School, one half of the tag team champions, taking on Mad T, a newcomer here.
Mad T. You're talking about the Mad Hatter, right?
No, his name is Mad T.
Mr. T.
He is a part of the OGs over there. He's a newcomer here.
McMahon, where are you finding these guys?
These guys find us. I mean, they come in, they want to come and join, and they get voted on by the board.
I heard some rumblings in the locker room, some loudmouth who thinks he's all hot shit, and I don't know. I've gone against Old School. Old School and I went to a coin flip. Mm-hmm. One of the toughest competitors. He's currently right now a tag team champion. I just don't see how he's going to lose this match. Mr. Mad T must just change his name to Mad, because I think he's going to be mad after losing this match. And he's going to be probably kicking and screaming like a toddler, and we'll have another Purge on our hands. So
hey, you're all about hating on Purge, but I got one more thing to ask you, because Champions Showcase, that's a big event there. You're going to be on that event. You and your partner, the Tin Man. stop loss here, getting ready to take on the Mega Powers and Fear the Beards for the tag team titles in a live triple threat tag team match. How do you think you're going to fare in this?
Well, you have a tag team who thinks that they're the 80s wrestling sensation from the WWF, or I guess you could say. And we may have to blur out the F. But who I think are a little too over themselves at this moment. And then the team that beat me and my other tag team partner for the titles. And so I
Nobody's
feel like
heard from him since. Have you heard from Dusty D. Paul?
I haven't. I've been trying to call him because when I was trying to come back and be able to get into this other match to begin with, he was the first call, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Storyteller said, "Hey, if you're gonna do it, it has to be 10-man." I'm like, "All right." And then ever since, I still haven't heard from him, and it's like, okay, I guess. I guess this El Mucho Siete, whatever his name is
Lucha Siete, the new sensation
took.
from Mexico.
He must have like taken him out or something. So I don't know. I feel good where we're at because at the end of the day, I have an opportunity to be the first ever 2-time tag team champion in the HSB.
Well, he's
And
definitely goals here, folks. Villain looks like he's ready. But
I'm definitely ready.
He's always ready. But we're going to find out here May 18th. That is the Run the Gauntlet show. And then we will have the Champions Showcase show here in June. Make sure you keep an eye out for the dates on that. I believe it's 15th and 16th. But that's the end of our show. I'm Dr. Quack. Thank you, Villain, for coming on. And we'll see you next time.